Speaking at the White House yesterday, President Trump vowed to crush MS-13, the El Salvadoran gang that has been a fixture of his public addresses.
Just the tremendous threat of MS-13, one of the most violent and vicious gangs anywhere in the world.
Also known as Mara Salvatrucha, the FBI says there are 6,000 members in the U.S. across 46 states. Trump has blamed MS-13 on a broken immigration system, but an examination of the group's history reveals its origins in U.S. foreign policy dating back to the 1980s. MS-13 was first established in Los Angeles. Its members were children of El Salvadorans who fled the country as the U.S.-backed military dictatorship battled against Marxist guerrillas. 12 years of war left 80,000 people dead and an estimated 1 million displaced. The U.S. government provided support to the El Salvadoran government, and American advisors trained Salvadoran soldiers who gained notoriety for their brutality. In the 1981 Mozote massacre, 1,000 people were tortured and slaughtered by government forces. Soldiers smashed the skulls of small babies and decapitated older children. Several pregnant mothers were shot, then had large rocks dropped on their stomachs to kill their unborn children. A UN Truth Commission established as part of the 1992 peace accords found that more than 85% of the atrocities were committed by US-backed forces. Struggling to survive amid impoverished 1980s Los Angeles, some sons and daughters of El Salvadoran refugees joined MS-13. A 2010 Congressional Service report noted that MS-13 included Salvadoran soldiers whose combat experience during the war contributed to MS-13's notoriety as one of the more brutal and violent LA street gangs. In the late 1980s, an LAPD crackdown on gangs called Operation Hammer filled California's prisons. In the 1990s, President Clinton signed the Illegal Immigration Reform and Immigrant Responsibility Law and began deporting undocumented gang members back to El Salvador. The Salvadoran government followed the Los Angeles police approach and imprisoned 31,000 young people. Most were released without charges, and MS-13's ranks swelled. With the country plagued with rival gang violence, vigilante death squads have emerged, and police and military operate on tacit shoot-to-kill orders. Today, El Salvador is the world's most violent country outside a declared war zone. I spoke to Salvadoran journalist and author Hector Silva.
I think what President Trump is doing is kind of using the gang as a scapegoat, or trying to equate the gang to an entire community, meaning the Latino community.
Silva says Trump's cancellation of temporary protected status for 200,000 Salvadorans will put even more pressure on the country.
To bring them back to a gang-plagued country and a country plagued of violence will create, again, a vulnerable class of individuals that's the class that the gang preys upon.
While President Trump's rhetoric may build domestic support, it's unlikely his policies will solve this decades-old problem. Reporting from Washington, Dan Cohen, RT.